Hello everyone, AngelWolf here with a quick little video about what I've been doing with the character system. There was some conversation last night in the channel about loading in XML files as being a requirement for the development, and I didn't understand any of that. So Cabot pointed to me to the fact that Unreal Engine actually has functionality for that built in. I just needed to figure out how to change the character system to take that data in. Basically, before it had to be loaded in, and there was still some of the screenshots I had from last night that showed it in the data tables themselves. But that would require the person to load up in the editor and change all of those manually. And instead, you can actually just use a plain old spreadsheet program. And I've created the list of levels, and I've created the list of numbers for how much experience you need to get to the next level. And you can see this is taken from Tim's spreadsheet on how many minions it should take to get to the next level, and a couple of people were like 10 XP. So 10 XP, 10 times 14 is 140. So you can see the numbers, and they have to be saved out as a CSV, comma separated values, and then you can load them in to the editor, and it loads them in as what's called a data table. And you can see them right here. They're loaded in. And if I made changes to the data table, I could just re-import this, and it'll get the new numbers, and everything will work just fine. To get that working, I had to make some changes to the character system, and I've already got this set up to give you a little diff of this side of the diff is the original blueprint, and this is the changes I've made. Just starting with, let's see, the default. Let's see, next. Yes. So just in the construction script, I had to change it a couple of things. And it mostly focuses on this per level XP array. This was the hard-coded array that was built, that came with the character system that we needed to get rid of to add in this dynamic data table. So I just did a bypass, basically. I replaced the per XP here. Right here, it does the cap check, basically. So, excuse me. This basically checks the level cap, and you can see kind of faded in the background. See, set the stat indicating how much experience is required to get to the next level. So it gets the current level from the player. That's pretty self-explanatory. And it spits out the level right here. So the level is a number coming off this line right here. And it looks at the length, how many levels the person has hard-coded into this system, and it shows the number, the item number, and it says if that number returns true if A is greater than B. So it's going to say yes, this is true, or no, it's not. And when it reaches the actual numbers, if it's false, everything works. If it's true, it doesn't. So I've basically replaced this per level XP here with this these two, well, no, just this one block right here. Get data table row names, and what that does, and it's set to table XP to level. So that gets the length of the table just like it were an array. It gives me the length of how many items are in the table like that, and just feeds it in just like it were right here. And then secondly, I changed these three blocks right here. So this first the level comes off, and it goes in here, and it gets subtracted by 1, because in an array the first slot is 0. So it had to subtract it to compensate, but we don't need to do that. And then we get this sets the array to get, which is just like getting the name from the table. and feeds the final result, the number that we're looking for, into this false right here and continues it on. So basically, I've replaced those three with these four. And what this does is the level of the player, the character comes off, and it gets fed into this to convert it to a string. So it goes from being a number to being a string, which then gets turned into a name, which then gets fed into the data table and gives me the number, which it comes out here and it gets broken, which there's only one thing to break off of the number, and the final result is plugged in. This is the XP amount, and it gets plugged in just like this part here. So I did that with pretty much all the places where the get XP per level was. Where is it? Oh, it just disappeared. Yeah, right there. So I basically did that throughout the all the different functions of the character system. So there you can see it right here, active. It goes out and it changes stuff. So I had to change the variable because you add a data table by creating a variable type right here. So anyway, that is what I've been doing, and I will catch you guys later.